Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in the South Florida market? Here are 5 pros and 5 cons for living down here. Hi, I'm Bianca Procter. I'm a South Florida realtor specializing in Broward County, Miami-Dade, and West Palm Beach. I've been living in Florida my whole life. Florida, born and raised. I've been living in South Florida the majority of my life. So I think I'm pretty qualified to tell you the pros and cons of living here. So we're gonna start with the pros, because who doesn't like a nice pro list, right? South Florida is beautiful. It's so rich and diverse in culture. So that leads me to my first pro. There is so many cultures here that you'll find. It is a cesspool of different cultures and experiences that you can have. Whether you're going to Miami, whether you're going to Fort Lauderdale, there are so many things that South Florida has to offer you, and so many different cultures that you can immerse yourself in and learn about. It is truly, truly beautiful. It's like no other. Pro number 2, there's always something to do. Like I said, whether there's something going on in Miami, like Art Basel during December, or food and wine festivals, or beer tastings, or whiskey tastings, or yoga classes, which, by the way, if you like yoga, subscribe to my yoga channel. There is so much going on all the time. So many different events that you can look up on Eventbrite or Instagram, or just connect with people, Carnival. So many different things that you can go to and just meet different people at, networking opportunities. It truly is an amazing place to just meet so many different people that are from different backgrounds. Pro number 3, it's warm year round. When I tell you, you probably have to wear a jacket 1 to 2 days out of the year, I'm not lying. Most of the year you can live in a bikini and you can live in shorts and a tank top and be happy. I don't know about you, but because I'm born and raised in Florida, the cold, I like it. I don't know if I can live in it. But it's really nice when you're able to go outside and it's just warm. Like there's warmth, there's sunshine. The sunsets are gorgeous, the sunrises are gorgeous. You don't have to worry about being cold. Pro number 4, there's opportunity everywhere, especially if you know multiple languages. Now, if you're bilingual or if you're multilingual, Miami is gonna be a great place for you. South Florida is gonna be a great place for you. Fort Lauderdale, great place. If you are bilingual or multilingual, you have an advantage here because of that fact. There are so many people here that speak different languages, myself included. I speak English and Spanish. Spanish is going to be predominantly the second language that you're going to find. Right after that is Creole. It's a beautiful place to come and learn different languages or practice a language if you feel like you're a little rusty in it. Pro number 5, the beaches are beautiful and they're accessible on both sides, on both coasts. So Florida is a peninsula, meaning that it is, I learned this in elementary school, I should know this by now, but it's surrounded by water on 3 sides. You can go on the west coast or you can go on the east coast. I specialize on the east coast because that's where I am, but if you like the west coast, you can go over there. It's a lot quieter on the west coast. There's not as much going on. The east coast is a little bit more hustle and bustle. There's a little bit more going on, a little bit more activities. Just depends what your vibe is. But the beaches are absolutely gorgeous. I host beach yoga classes every 3rd Saturday of the month. If you are interested in learning more, then follow me on Instagram. But for me, at least, the beach is my safe space. I love the beach. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Just sitting on the water, maybe reading a book or going with your friends. It really is a pastime that anyone can enjoy. I know that sometimes people don't like the sand, which is totally fine. I understand that. My boyfriend hates the sand, but it is a small price to pay for the beauty of being next to the ocean. Now let's go into the cons of living in South Florida, because just like there is a good side, there's always gonna be a bad side. So the first con is that it is crowded and more people are coming down because of the pros. That is gonna cause the housing market to go up a little bit because there's a higher demand for housing here. And it's becoming quite crowded. Like, if I'm not even lying to you, when you drive down to Miami from where I am, I'm about 40 minutes away from Miami, but when you drive down to Miami, you're going to run into traffic. You're going to run into a point where you're stopped or at least slowing down, and it's really annoying. Like, genuinely, it's annoying. It's not as bad as LA, it's not as bad as New York, but the traffic is not one to play with, especially because there are so many people that drive poorly around here. That's definitely a con. one of the biggest cons of living in South Florida. Con number 2, I already said it, the traffic. It gets clogged down here very easily. So if you're moving to South Florida, I do recommend either living in Miami, like where you can walk to places, or maybe even living a little bit higher. Number 3, it gets hot, especially during the summertime. It gets hot. It gets hot and humid. So if you have a straightener and you like to straighten your hair, I recommend throwing it out, because you'll straighten your hair, it looks beautiful. The minute that you step outside, frizz city. Not even exaggerating. That is a con if you are someone that cares a lot about your hair and you care a lot about frizz. Keep that in mind. Con number 4, if your AC breaks, you're screwed. In your car, in your home, wherever it is, you need to have some sort of fan. You need to have some sort of AC going, because it can be brutal, especially during the summer months. You'll be sweating. I think I read somewhere that when the temperature goes up, even by 1 or 2 degrees, people tend to be a little bit more upset and angry, because the heat is just, it's uncomfortable, and so it reflects in people's behavior. Con number 5, hurricanes. Hurricanes in South Florida have become somewhat of a joke, in all honesty. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a joke. It isn't at all, because they are truly natural disasters that are terrifying, and they can cause a lot of damage. In South Florida, it is kind of like a running joke that hurricanes are they're just like storms. People tend to not take it as seriously, unless it's like a mandatory evacuation and you have to leave right now. But depending on where you live, hurricanes can be a little bit more devastating than others. I mean, earlier this year, Fort Myers was hit really badly with a hurricane. They didn't really see coming, and it caused a lot of destruction, a lot of damage. And so because of that, if you're gonna live in Florida, it's a really good idea to have flooding insurance, because in the case of a natural disaster and your house goes underwater, you wanna make sure that you are insured for that, especially because Florida is a little bit higher than sea level. I think that the highest point is 300 something feet. Don't quote me on that. It's very close to sea level compared to other states. If you are gonna move down here, that you have that in mind. So those are the 5 pros and the 5 cons for living in South Florida. From a South Florida native, I've lived here my whole life. It's a beautiful place, rich in diverse culture, rich in opportunity, but also there are definitely some cons. So keep that in mind if you are planning to move to South Florida. If you like this video, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more real estate content. I will see you in the next video.